Welp. The main thing of this video, DieDev's hitboxes got resolved. However, I still think this video is important to make since there's still a lesson to learn, and people need to improve or just know better. I just thought I'd clarify since I definitely get a comment about it. Also, this video is heavily opinion based, more so than my other ones, because it covers a much more subjective topic. If you're interested, stick around. If you're already having a bad day, probably don't. Hi! Welcome to another video. This video will be different from what I usually make. This is more of a quickie too. Also, fair warning, this video may come off more as a rant, frankly because it kind of is. But I am trying to say a real point. Let's cut to the point. Developers who are communicating with their community, fanbase, players, whatever you want to call them, they need to think. Yes, that think. The one on screen. If you clicked on this video, you saw Saucefy and Qwel on the thumbnail, you know what I'm going to talk about. Also, I need to say this because people are dumb. Don't harass anyone in this video. Whatever you have to say, go ahead and say it in the comments section, but other than that, you're better off keeping it to yourself. Let's get started. I'll still organize like my other videos.
Emotional responses.
Being a developer is hard, not just because of the work you need to put in, but because you're going to be held at a high standard for some people. This means that you may feel pressured, or even get pressured, to make a solution for something most players think is unbalanced, respond to a controversy, or take immediate action in something. I will get to this in a later part of the video. Right now, let's just focus on the developers. What I was saying is that things like criticisms could make developers feel hurt or feel bad. This causes something to happen in most humans, wanting to act emotionally. Let's take a recent example. You may have heard of this, or at least felt it inside of DieDev. Saucefy, the creator of DieDev, decided to decrease the hitbox velocity for killers. What does this mean? Before I explain and contextualize some things, I want to say I don't know the exact code for things. So my explanations may be wrong. If someone in the comments clarifies for me, go ahead and I'll probably put it in a pinned comment for any correction. So if you're watching this, look for the pinned comments so you're not misinformed and potentially spreading that around like the plague. Thank you. Anyways, hitbox velocity means that if the killer is moving forward or just moving any direction, the hitbox will move alongside with them. But it may be a little more exaggerated depending on the value of the velocity. Hitbox velocity also comes with ping compensation. I have two guesses on what ping compensation is. My first guess is that instead of using the player hitbox, like where they actually are, it uses the client's killer location, meaning what the player is seeing and where the killer's model is for the player. My second guess is that it just increases the velocity by certain amounts depending on the ping the player has. That was a bit long, wasn't it? Anyways, about Saucefy. The hitbox velocity and ping compensation for killers in DieDev were heavily criticized and even slandered. What did Saucefy, likely in an upset, annoyed, or angered emotional state, do? He decided to reduce the hitbox velocity so badly that the killer's hitbox intentionally goes behind the killer instead of in front of them. If you don't know what this means, cause maybe you came for the Qwel part of the video or you were just curious about the subject, this means that killers cannot hit civilians. You know, the way to make them take damage and actually win rounds. This causes you, as the killer, to have to be next to or in front of civilians. This makes you more vulnerable to juking or getting ragdolled, stunned, debuffed, whatever the hell. This all happened because Saucefy acted on emotions rather than rational thinking. What happens when you emotionally respond? You think irrationally, you make decisions you'll regret, and you can end up dealing more damage than was necessary, if at all. However, the damage can be reduced, which is what Saucefy is kind of doing. This can be considered a manipulative, persuasive, or deceptive tactic. I'm not fully sure what the proper term is. What he did is what I'll key as the "I told you so" tactic. This tactic basically means that you want something to be a certain way because changing it might be a hassle. So you do this by making something significantly worse. This makes people want to go back, or at least ask for something a lot more doable for a developer to do. In this case, just reverting back. This sets the standard to be the way it used to be, even if that means not satisfying a portion of your player base. In this case, Saucefy didn't like the criticisms the killer hitbox velocity was receiving, so he decided to make them way worse, basically unplayable, and this makes people beg for the old hitboxes to come back. This now makes the old hitboxes seem not so bad. I mean, he wasn't even blatant about this. In the message where he said this was going to happen, he literally said it at the end of it. If you don't like it as is either, maybe they weren't so bad after all. Wow. Amazing. Now this risks making Saucefy seem more untrustworthy, making dev lose potentially a portion of their player base, even if it's a minority or even just temporary. This isn't good, it's unhealthy and becomes worse long term for those unwilling to deal with the BS. So if you're a future developer, or even just a person with a platform, how can you not act emotionally? First of all, don't act instantly. I know, crazy. But you shouldn't need to reply right away, even if people want that from you. That's just unrealistic and can potentially cause more issues. Next is to try and calm down first. This may require days, but that's better. It helps you clear your mind before doing something you may regret. These two things are kind of it, and they can combine into something that you should have been doing in the first place, thinking in the long term. If you think about the possible consequences, way something will be received, or how unhealthy this can end up being, this will help you make less stupid decisions and make you look more professional and awesome.
The right communication.
This is the Qwel section, yay! This will be a significantly shorter section than the last section, since this may seem kind of like a stretch, maybe depending on how you look at it, but I don't know any other examples, so yeah. I want to clarify though that I don't mean like having no communication at all. This is a severe issue amongst literally any video game developer ever, but that's not the main point of the section. The main point is that some devs should, how do I put this, maybe be a little more professional? Qwel has always had this sillier personality. That's fine, we're all different in our own ways. I want to make it clear I don't think developers need to sound like monotone robots. Corporate talk has always been shitty, and I will always stand by that. No, what I mean is that you should act appropriately. I will put one example on screen. This is between Qwel and a player. This player was expressing their opinion on Funny Bunny, an infamous skin for Louis. This opinion also had specific criticisms, even if it was a bit vague. Instead of Qwel responding in an understanding way, like saying how they'll improve, or just saying something like, okay, you can have your own opinions, she instead gives this weird-ass response. I know, it sounds nitpicky, but this is the best example I can recall. However, my point is that developers shouldn't think that the way responding in their personality is appropriate to do in all cases. If you're receiving criticism, you should either agree that you'll improve on it, or just say that the team doesn't find it as an issue. Something like that. You can still form it in a casual way too. Let's take a more serious example. Still might feel like a nitpick for some though. Danny's Wood has been under fire due to a controversy. I will not get into the specifics of it, please do your own research if you're going to comment about this. However, there were very serious allegations about Qwel. Recently, she gave out a response to these allegations. I will not cover the document. Again, do your own research. At the start of the document, she says, "Hey guys, it's Qwel." This might just seem like a simple greeting, but this is actually her catchphrase, if you will. I think in a document that should be addressing serious allegations, this is the personality leaking into it. This comes off as inappropriate and unserious, which can make the document look unprofessional. I hope I don't have to explain why this is bad, because I will not. These two examples are the only ones that come to mind, so I will not make any further comments. Next section.
Succumbing to negativity.
Fancy vocabulary, eh? I hope most of you have heard the phrase folding under pressure. Developers tend to do this if negativity is too high. While in some cases, it's the right move to do this, in other times, it isn't. This is likely the biggest dev problem in general. Like, this genuinely happens outside of the Roblox developer space. Speaking of Roblox developers, I'm still using them for my main example of this section, the Forsaken devs. Asymmetrical horror games are one of the hardest genres to balance. Because of this, it's hard to make everyone happy. But what happens if you make a good decision for a character that changes the status quo, causing people to complain about it? Elliot, one of the survivors in Forsaken, has an ability called Rush Hour. The ability would increase your movement speed so you can escape chases. However, this was unhealthy because the survivor was a support. In Forsaken, supports are meant to help other survivors, while being unable to usually help themselves in a direct way. Elliot wasn't that. He had an ability that just straight up gave him a speed boost. In an older update, I can't recall which one, the developers decided to nerf Rush Hour by giving a slowness debuff around the end of it. This, however, received so much backlash from the community that it got reverted within hours. This is what I mean by folding under pressure. The developer made a healthy, good change that prevented the survivor from being BS and unbalanced, but people didn't like that, and instead of giving it any breathing room, they harassed the developers into reverting it basically ASAP. Developers need to know what's good for their game. They shouldn't have to rely on the community to form every single balance decision. If that were the case, the game might become unplayable. And this could go outside of balance decisions. Even gameplay elements are something that developers need to see how good it is for the game long term, and if it would cause a lot of slander or have consequences for the future of the game. Anyways, remember how I said that the reason this happens is because of how the community acts? Well,
The player base.
if the developers are the ones making it happen, the player base are the enablers. Slander feels awful. Developers are human beings. I hate to say it because most of the time, this is their jobs, but that's just my opinion. It doesn't make it right. Why am I saying this? Because everyone has different opinions, morals, and other shit. That's why there's the occasional player that threatens the well-being of these developers. They don't care, they don't view them as humans, just developers. It's why player bases need to calm down as well. It's also why you may see dramas or controversies get blown out of proportion. These people act instantly on emotions rather than trying to let it sit through and wait for a statement to come out. Just know that nobody's really justified here. Communities, if big enough, will always be shitty. Developers handling said communities may get stressed out and do shitty things. Is there a lot more that could be said on here? Probably. But I think it's best to reflect. If you're one of these people, think about the way you act. Nobody likes a jackass, but also nobody likes a kiss ass. Also, before Prototype comes in here and rambles about me stealing his video idea, I'm not. As a matter of fact, check out his videos about fandoms if you haven't already. It's a really well made video and probably words things better than I ever could. This video was about specific examples and mostly about the Saucefy situation. I just decided to turn them into broader sections. Guess we'll just end the video here. Sorry if this video was more negative, I know I tend to be that, but this was more of a rant video I wanted to get out. I will say it again, do not harass anyone mentioned in this video. We just got out of the player base section. You just seem like a big ass if you did that. If you're a future developer or just a fan of something, think before you act. Whether that act is speaking, digging into something, or whatever else, make sure nobody is negatively affected. We're all humans, we all act emotionally before rationally. I'm Schmark, I make game analysis videos. This video is one of my weirder ones, but subscribe if you like game analysis. Like if you self-reflected, or at least agreed. Hype if you're on mobile. Is that even a feature anymore? I haven't really looked, honestly. And thank you.